this. Let's see, is my mic on? Good. Hi, Jeff. Oh. Kerry Tumleson, I presume.
You presume correctly. How you doing?
Fine, how are you?
Well, this is the first time I've used this setup at home, so hopefully I'm coming through okay.
I kind of hear you, although I'm not sure if it's you or if it's the speaker in this room.
Well, it might be me. I'm going to see if I can somehow turn the volume up. How things going?
Don't see any. Don't notice any change.
Yeah, here.
Try something. Let's try things on my end.
Like I said, that's the first time I've used this setup, so it very well could be me. I don't see the. Oh wait. Here's. I'm looking for some sort of volume control on this. There's got to be something here.
Yeah.
Hi, Kerry. This is Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. How you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, I'm hearing you pretty good here, but you can. There's a way that you can go to your microphone and adjust the level of that microphone.
That is what I'm trying to do. Like I was saying.
I'll see if I can find it.
It's Jeff, you're coming in loud and clear.
Yeah, I hear you fine.
The door is open for you? Nope.
If you hit the microphone button on the bottom, the little caret, it'll say something like test microphone and speaker. I think that's where you can go.
Open doors.
You have a little microphone icon at the bottom of your screen.
Well, I see participants chat, share screen, record.
I just snuck in behind some girl that unlocked the door.
There we go.
I can't hear you because the room is too loud.
I understand.
But the little microphone icon, there should be a little caret, a little upside down triangle.
What are they doing here?
If you expand that, I think it says test microphone and speaker.
In here, out in the halls, everywhere.
How's that?
So.
Is that any better? I see the little microphone here, but that doesn't give me control over it.
Is there a little triangle next to it?
Yes, it's a up triangle.
Okay, if you click on that, and there should say like test speaker and microphone.
I see. Thank you.
Outlets on upside down.
I'm gonna try a different one.
So these outlets are upside down.
I've
been in places where the outlets are both.
Apparently not, because you can't hear me.
In different rooms, different spaces.
I can hear it loud and clear. It should be. Maybe I'll just spoke. I'll speak closer to the microphone.
Kerry, are you hearing us all right?
I'm hearing you great. I can just be here. I can be the dumb silent one.
So did you find where it said test microphone and speaker?
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see.
Did you click on that? It should pop open a box and give you a picture of two sliders, one slider for the speaker and one slider for the microphone.
That I ordered.
Doesn't have a slider in it, just, you know, test the speaker.
Yeah, click on that.
Jackson, it was like $26.
Nope, not on the speaker. Click on the little caret and then scroll down to test.
Okay, so this is the board.
Okay.
It has a whole bunch of.
It should open.
Test speaker and microphone.
Okay, did you click on those words?
Yeah, and then I get this thing popping up.
It should pop up a box.
Oh, I understand.
That are being used.
Microphone.
This
Okay.
is the latest and greatest. And it matches with.
I can hear my voice in the delay.
This is the.
Yeah.
But I just in the test,
Given out a receipt for effort.
I didn't have the option to turn up the volume.
So.
Yeah, if you click on that, it should give you a little slider to turn up the speaker and turn up the volume on your microphone.
2016 thing. That was. Put it back up.
Right.
I'm assuming you want to receive for tax purposes. Right. For $100.
Is that Sam and John in the room?
Yeah.
Is there anybody else?
No.
Not yet.
Thank you. I'm just doing attendance.
We're early. So that's the two things. There's a whole bunch of junk in here, so you know, we can probably get rid of it. This used to be old ledger that updated this since we're still $5 off. Give me $5 off. Used to be we were $5 off from the longest time. It would be before my time.
Hey, Kerry, can you see my screen?
On my left.
Oh, did you find it with the
No, this thing popped up.
okay, did you see my email open in the sun and all that?
I have it. Oh, you have it?
I do see your email, yes, sir.
Okay, so you see where it says test. I clicked on this little arrow here by the mic, and here it says test speaker and microphone. You see that on my screen?
I think your email's taken, maybe obscuring what you're doing.
How about now?
Okay.
You see where I've got test speaker microphone?
No, I do not. I saw it popped up. There's a microphone on the lower left of the screen.
Yeah, and then I scroll down and I highlight test speaker and microphone and click on that.
Yeah.
And then it's actually playing a sound for me.
Yeah.
I said yes. Are you seeing my screen now?
I don't see the slider. I just see a picture of the sun.
Oh.
Beautiful picture, by the way.
Okay, well, I'm not going to.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm just going to click on yours for a second.
That's the termination. The only one.
Yeah, I did the test speaker and microphone. I'm going to try it again.
Notice.
I hear it. I'll say yes. I see no sliding scale though.
They're all done in line. Like my handwriting. It could be. So you've done this before. So there's it's an E form and base.
You might even just have to go to your computer taskbar.
The website and you fill out the form.
I looked at my taskbar seeing if there's something there.
Yeah. Then if you right click on the speaker, I think it says if you open sound, let me see if it's open volume mixer.
This is still good.
No.
The login and the password, they're still good. So look at the side.
Open sound settings.
2022.
Yeah, if you go to the on your taskbar, the little speaker, and do open sound settings.
So this is the one.
There's a microphone volume there too.
There was some stuff that you filled there, like treasurer, president, and blah 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 blah. You can change it.
And it could be set all the way up too. Who knows?
Yeah.
It's not horrible. I'm hearing you okay. The room is louder than you, but that's kind of typical.
On an annual basis, the others are.
Well, Jeff, I don't want to interfere with the meeting. I can just watch.
Nah, we want to hear from you.
You may not. I mean, it's been cloudy for a month or more, so I don't see. Zoom device test is using your microphone.
This guy sent me email, but I don't have an eye on it, so I really cannot be the register agent.
Those are the
Right now,
speakers.
the register agent is Neilssen, because he told me to leave his name in there. So the next time this needs to be.
That's the speaker stuff.
Okay. So next time this be checked out, which I think is this year. Probably need to either put your name in there or click man in there. I don't think anybody cares. Yeah. Those are I think these are the only two documents that have to be to avoid, because without this, we lose our tax exemption. So we'll start looking for money. This one's, I haven't done much with them, so I don't even know if we need to do anything because we already applied. Once you apply, as long as you fill out the other form, you don't have to apply again. As far as I know. Right. What else is in here? Don't know if I can tell you which box.
I was going to ask you what those boxes are, because I remember having 2 big boxes.
Oh, there's 5
of them now.
There's 5 of them. And,
Howdy, Byron.
Hey, how are you, Jeff?
there's some more receipts in. Well, obviously, like these receipts, there's more on the box there. There are no checks, so I have to order them. This is all just old stuff again, like I said. So you have room in your briefcase, you can put them in there. Otherwise, the key to the mail. Oh, that is due this month or next month, I think, on the box. The PO box. Yes. Yeah. You can probably go to the post office to pay in person on the counter.
And we're still going down by the Santiago Bridge.
Yeah. Same one. So if you have room there, otherwise, I brought a little bag. We'll put in there.
How's that?
Hi, Byron.
Yeah, I can do.
Hi, Dr. Mitchell.
Most of the stuff is in.
Jeff, is it better now?
Perfect. You said you had a USB.
Yeah, right here. So I got a copy of all of it in here.
It's about the same to me, but it might be better in the room.
I did find a sliding scale
So
and did crank it far to the far right.
Okay.
And their audio microphone. It might be as loud as it is.
Smarter than
Let me test the mic real fast. How about?
okay, so there's a directory there called QCAS cache box. Directory. There's a whole bunch of XLXs. There's some here.
A little closer.
Did you ever go into that? Oh, last night it was cloudy, so nobody went.
No, they canceled it.
Dang, I haven't even looked at the screen. I see that, Jeff. That's no beard anymore.
It's
Not nearly as much as
a video effect.
Howdy, Ellen.
Howdy.
one.
Alan, long time no see.
Yeah, a long time.
So,
Where are you coming from?
Oh, from my home here.
How's this?
It looks like you found the motor to power our roof.
so
Yeah, this is a
there's
Shea
it's kind of-
locomotive, actually.
duplicates, but
The
it wants
power
to-
cylinders, the three power cylinders that drive the crankshaft for
Then it has a
a Shea locomotive.
with
If you're familiar with what that is, it's a steam engine from around 1900, year, used for
oh, that's
steep grade logging operations, like in Cass, West Virginia, for example.
it's still okay.
1903?
Yeah, somewhere around the 1900 time frame.
Well, it fits right in with us then.
No way.
It fits right in with me, that's for sure.
You deliver?
This is not a Mac.
No, this
Yep.
they wouldn't open
Cecil?
Get inside door.
Why do I bother? Security anymore? I had to wait for somebody to come in there.
that was
Well, it's nice and
some
clear.
of them are PDF. Some of them are.
Yes.
So cannot open.
Kind of cool.
Which
Just a problem.
no, I mean which what is the latest and greatest?
Office 360.
They need my cell phone number.
Well, that one,
I gotta get out.
That one, okay.
which one is that?
What are we gonna call it?
CAS cash.
To tell you, I couldn't get in.
Yeah.
Oh, you have your cell phone.
2019.
Yes.
Oh, that's the first one. I wonder why the other one is not open.
563.
Oh, you can see these are lighter colored.
Oh.
So none of these are open, but all these will probably open.
Oh,
8, 9.
yeah, so is that one 2023? I wonder what the lighter colors out here.
23 with balance, okay.
Okay. So it should ask you, so 6 week of March of month 1. It's good. Then click on there. And then we'll show in here that that is pulling that value for the previous year from 2022, right?
Okay.
That's the balance from 2022 for the general fund, the event fund. Each one links to the previous year. Okay, this is the latest entry. This is my exit donation. Because I have that balance in there. Owe me. Just I want to make it this security.
This current balance.
If you go, so if you go into the current balance, you can go BNL. And then scroll down. That is the current balance. And then if you scroll a little bit up, see, I got you probably need to expand that a little bit. Okay, so this is the total. This is the bank balance. The only reason why the bank balance and the total, I have them separate line because there's money in the bank that it's not been accounted for. And I just add it externally until it shows up in the bank, and then these two should match. But if you scroll up, see that this is the balance for the general fund. So if you want to know how much is the general fund, that's the general fund. This is the event fund balance, and this is the balance of the relocation. Then the one below is the total. Now, if you open 2022, previous year. Okay, so now this is the PNL. You might want to go into. Oh no, is this the PDF? You open the PDF on it. Oh, I did. You got me right. Yeah, this is the report. This is the report that we use for sending out. We do. Okay, so if you go by month, you will see all the entries there.
Howdy, Jim.
Click on that. So this is everything that happened on that month, and then the next month, and then the next one, and then on this side.
Hey there.
Hello. You don't have general.
Hi, Travis.
Fund, living expenses. This is the money out. Utilities, rental, expenses, equipment, secondary relocation expenses, right? So.
So we don't have any electrical expense anymore, right?
Well, that's utilities. Electrical is in.
Well, when we were out at Sherman Park.
Oh, yeah. Well, that would have been under utilities. So if you go a couple of years back.
Like we don't pay that anymore.
We don't pay that anymore. That's good. Then, so the only thing that is on utilities right now, it's either. I think I put in some stuff in utilities like maybe the mailboxes that are there. People have to look at months, two, maybe. Three, I can't remember what I paid for it. That's right. Oh, that's on rental, yeah. Oh, I don't know. You know. Vibrant credit unit pays the interest. I put it in here. It's not a lot. Well, but then that's based on $40-something thousand per point in time. So that's all for last year. And then it includes all the payments. Reimbursement, reimbursement. There's the payments are payments. What's going in is a deposit, what's going out. Then the description, I just put a little note in there, what was it for, so that we can have that information. So everything is linked. So every time you add something in here, it shows up on that PL. That's profit and loss. PNL. It's that the last package probably that shows. The bottom. The tab. Oh, where's the tab? To scroll it.
Travis has joined us.
Show up. The tab. There. PL. Oh, okay. Yeah. So this shows everything by month. It's our money in, and the one below is money out. Right. So this is profit, and this is expenses, profit and loss. Right. Then if you keep scrolling down, sometimes they answer. Look at it works with the highlight. Maybe up the right. No, if you click anywhere, it should. So this balance sheet, what it should every time something like for grant request, they send like this balance sheet that shows how many cash that we have. Will be considered that we have equipment that don't. That is probably going to have to be all of that this year because it's probably a lot more down. Then that is the total. No liabilities. Then you just have to have here the treasurer, and then you have the president of vice president or whatever people like that. They just need some people need to sign. That's just from that. Right? We're saying this is what we got. I don't know if they're reconsidering, we might not need to send that out again, but if we do, well, you saw that PDF, you open by chance. It's this page. See that it's that page. If you scroll it down, that's all that information in here. You can sign in there and send it out. Right? But the Excel, you can save it as a PDF. Print it.
That's what, 6 or 7 o'clock. Do we have Wi-Fi in here?
There is.
Yes.
There is. I don't have a password for it. I've never asked for it. Robert has.
I don't. They keep it on the. They keep it on some kind of shared drive with campus. You have to look for it.
Hey, Robert,
Yeah.
in past events, I added a bullet called membership pictures, so we don't forget to show the couple pictures that were sent to me.
Mhm.
Nobody else showed up, so guess this is it.
Nobody else could get in the door.
Indeed. Well, I went up there and stood around for a few minutes.
I don't know.
How'd you guys get in?
It's not been upstairs.
That's not upstairs.
I
But the student that was coming in, I'm surprised she didn't ask me who the hell I was, but then again, they don't care.
That you were a professor.
I was walking in with my briefcase, so she probably thought that I was.
Well, when I was out in that door over here and somebody came in and wanted to know what I was doing.
Fortunately, I can't start to find the guest Wi-Fi password until someone stops sharing their screen on Zoom.
It's not Ambrose.
No, it isn't.
Anyway.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's not big.
So hopefully. Also, I put you that one.
Hey, Robert,
Yes,
is it just the 4 of you in the room there?
just the 4 of us. Yes.
Okay. You want to go ahead and start?
As soon as you stop sharing your screen, yes.
Anyway.
All right.
Basics of everything.
Howdy, Craig.
You can always test me.
Hi, Mike.
Hello, everyone. Okay. I'll call the meeting to order. Order.
Hi, Craig. Hi, Mike.
Hold the lettuce. Hello, everyone.
Oh,
All right. So first meeting of 2023. Oh, hell, I never have any opening statements for this. Let's just get on to business.
No opening statements, huh?
No opening statements. Okay, so we were asked by one of our newest members if we could host a special event at QCMS Lower Elementary last night for her son and his fellow students. And unfortunately, clouds moved in and pretty much we had to cancel it. But I did email her that we'll be more than happy to reschedule it if she so desires. She hasn't answered back about that yet.
Well, you know, we've got Saturday night. They didn't come to.
This coming Saturday night,
Sure.
yes.
They'll be clouded out, but didn't come to it.
Well, in their case, they wanted us to go with them.
Sure.
So I don't know if that's, if they would want still for us to
Could
do.
offer it to me. Yeah, there's 20 kids. They might not want to carpool. I think.
20 kids, ages 8 to 12, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. I'm sure you have a lot of astronomers there.
And yes, that's this coming Saturday. So, yeah, we can make the offer to her. Sure. And then if that doesn't work, we got another public night on February 18th. It is our slow season. And then the next nearest one after that is our Messier Marathon on March 18th, overnight to 19th. So, what was it? The last Messier Marathon that we actually could have was 4 years ago. So, I was say yes, our Messier Marathon. Those of you just joining us, it's an annual astronomy event where it's the one time of year where it's just possible to see all 110 Messier objects in the night sky on a single night. And several of our club members have participated in it in the past. I don't think anybody's ever actually seen all 110 of them. Although one year, a few of our members did come close. I think they saw 107.
Yeah, Matt and I went out the one year and we got 107 of the 110, plus another 11 objects, so 118 objects in one night. And we started right at sunset and went right up past sunrise. And it was a busy time. I think we had like 20-minute break somewhere after midnight that we could just sit inside and look at each other wondering what was going on. We wrote all the information on the board, on the whiteboard, what time we saw the object and what object it was. So I've got pictures of that too. It's a good time.
Yeah. What weather kept getting in the way in very recent years. No.
I might add, the scope I used was my 12-inch Dob with just a 21-millimeter eyepiece, nothing else. And Matt, I know, used the 152-millimeter refractor he had. I don't remember what focal length that was, and I don't know what eyepieces he used, but we found objects together, and then we bounced back and forth to each other's scopes to confirm that we saw them. So. But it doesn't take a lot of gear to do.
The long password. Oh, they changed passwords on it.
No, I changed passwords on me this morning.
Oh.
You want me to share the two pictures that Craig sent?
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, please.
Okay. Craig, you ready to talk about him when I get him up here?
Sure.
Thanks for joining, by the way. It's been a long time since I saw you.
Well,
We'll do this in first.
I think about it after the fact. This is all PixInsight. There is new product plugins for PixInsight called Noise Exterminator, and the other ones StarNet version 2 is the major, and what it does is the blur removes some of the granular pixels you get in a picture, and it smooths it out. But you do that when you remove the stars first, and then you add the stars back on. Just recently, I've had a problem with the Wizard. I think you got the wrong one because I've refined it since then. The stars have a magenta glow to it. But in PixInsight, you can go into Script, Utilities, and remove magenta from stars, and it's just a matter of a click. that one's North America. I kind of overdid it on removing the stars. I just wanted to show more of the detail of the nebulosity. And the other one I did today, which is Wizard. Yeah. Again, I removed more stars than I wanted to, but you can see some of those stars has a magenta tone to them. And I'm looking on my computer right now on those stars being nice and white, unless there was a color to it. There's some blue and gold there, but most of them are white. Yeah, that's old information that I got for my year and a half ago. And with a cloud cover, I'm going back and redoing pretty much all the good ones that I like. I have a new purchase I have a Celestron 8-inch Edge HD with a, which is not this picture. Probably the reason why the clouds are here too, with a Hyperstar, which I'll be glad to, I got an opening about a week ago for about 10 minutes. Most of it for setup, but after that, I had about 102 shots. Of course, they're 30-second shots. And I got to keep 11 of them. But processing that without any subs, darks, flats, and biases, it turned out okay. I'm waiting for it to open up so I can do more. But on this one right here, I'm learning the process of what you have, when you can apply it, when you're not supposed to apply it. And yeah, I'm glad with this one. It turned out, the picture you got turned out pretty good. The one I've done, again, it's a little more detailed, but it's stars are not magenta.
Cool, thanks.
And I'm working on another one over here off to the side. I'd put it on pause. I'm rather excited about the capabilities.
And howdy, Matt.
What's going on?
Hi, Matt.
I used to know somebody by that name I used to come to the meetings.
Does it lock you out after so many times?
Is Google, hopefully not.
No, I think it just hates me. I'm sorry, I can't get it to you.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Has anyone bought any new gear recently?
Well,
You already know mine.
Anyone else?
In a while. I got a new guiding camera to replace my old star shooter, Ryan star shooter that I got from Jeff many years ago.
I don't have a new gear, but I've got an interesting little project that I'm going to start here. How many of you are familiar with what the Edmund Scientific Astroscan is?
Sure.
You all know what that is? It's that little red ball with a tube sticking out of it.
Yep.
Back years and years and years ago. You know, I think that is the greatest little telescope in the world for beginners. And I'd love to buy up a bunch of those and get those to libraries instead of those little star blasts that are being set out. That Astroscan is like indestructible. And the star blasts aren't so much because the tubes are kind of real lightweight plastic and the finder scopes are pretty plastic and lightweight and bounce around. And the base is a little bit funny with the bearings in it, where that astro scan just kind of pivots around in a piece of cast iron. So they're really indestructible, and the views are not half bad. A few years ago, I actually bought one and sent it to my granddaughter, who at the time was like 1.5 years old, out in Oregon. And she's, what is she, 5, going to be 6 this year. And she actually takes it out on her own and looks at the moon, and she finds Jupiter with it on her own. And it's pretty easy for her to use. Anyway, I always wanted one, so I also bought one. And what my project is I've got 2 planetary telescopes. I'm going to see how that works for just live view, wide field, to throw out on a table and just kind of bounce around and let a object pop up on the screen. I would think it'd work as well as any Dobsonian would. It's a fairly fast scope, so I think it'll be kind of fun to try. The weather really hasn't done what I needed it to do to allow me to get out to do it. So I'm going to try to get out during the day when there's some sun out and aim it like a tree line out in the distance to see if I can get it to focus. And that's my main concern, is that I can't get it to focus without a Barlow. Has anybody else tried to put a little camera on an astro scan? I'm actually going to mount that on my 10 micron mount with a camera and do some long exposures with it, just to, be funny, because I think it'd be funny to see that big red ball on a regular EQ mount. So I'll keep you all posted on what that is, but I'd like to utilize that little scope more often. But has anybody else ever used one other than me?
Do they still make them?
No, I think they stopped around 2009.
No, I've never had one in front of me.
And I think for some reason, I think they came out like in 1986 or something. And the one I've got is one of the original ones, like from the late 80s. And my daughter's, my granddaughter's is like from 1990 something. It's one of the later ones. The later ones have actually got screws on them up by the focuser, where you can actually put a real focuser on it. Otherwise, they've got this goofy plate that you kind of strap on it around the focus tube. And it's kind of, you kind of line it up that way. So I don't want to destroy mine by putting holes in it, but I will figure out how to put some kind of finer scope on it, because, I think it'd be a good little grab and go scope for things like that. So we'll see how it goes.
Anyone else?
Oh, by the way, the price on those used, you can get them for between $150 and $300 pretty much all day. So they're not super expensive either. And that usually comes with the base and a couple eyepieces and a strap and other stuff.
Anyone have any gear for sale? Going once, going twice. All right. All right then, so for the occasion, I've put together a little presentation about the new comet that's just arrived in the inner solar system, C/2022 E3 ZTF. Catchy little name. And I'll be honest, I kind of threw this one together at the last minute, and if anybody's willing to got more to contribute to it, please don't hesitate to intervene. Let's see if I can share this here. Let's see if this one will actually work. Come on. Let's see, which one is it? Okay. Let's see this one. That one. All right. So this is an image taken fairly recently by someone I got on someone online. Has anyone had a chance to go out and look? I know the skies around here haven't been very cooperative.
I have an AVI on this jump drive if you want to download it and try running it on your laptop.
I can try to do that. All right. In there. All right.
I would copy it to your hard drive though, because it's pretty big.
All right. Well, let me do a little bit of the science behind this first. So this is when it was discovered by the Zwicky Transient Facility. It's a telescope set up, I think, in Mount Palomar. It's designed to scan the sky every few days or so, looking for like basically new objects. Among other things, it looks for newly exploded supernovae or gamma ray bursts. In this case, it just happened to catch this comet when it was still pretty far out from the sun. It has since moved in much more closely. And it actually reached perihelion around the sun just
4 days ago?
Just 4 days ago, yes. And now it's on its way back out, and it's on its way toward its closest approach to Earth. And it's still, last I heard, it's still like just below naked eye visibility. And it's kind of up in the air whether it will become easily visible to the unaided eye, even under dark skies. You know, comets are unpredictable things. As for why this comet is green, astronomers believe it's due to diatomic carbon, which is what you get when light photons break down more complex organic compounds, which are often found in comets. Yeah, they're full of carbon compounds. In fact, many astronomers think that comet impacts early on in Earth's history might have helped to seed the Earth with some of the ingredients necessary for life to emerge. And we noted that this diatomic carbon then itself, it breaks down after just a couple of days, which is why they figure you'll only see that green color in the head of the comet and not in the tail, when and if the tail becomes prominent. All right. Now, they've been doing a lot of hype and by the fact that this comet hasn't passed by Earth since at least 50,000 years ago. So it's has a very, very long period. And this brings me to the fact that there are two main areas in our solar system where comets typically come from. One is the Kuiper belt, which is here just beyond the orbit of Neptune. And you can kind of think of it as being similar to the asteroid belt, only these objects are made more of ice than of rock. And Halley's Comet is probably the most famous resident of the Kuiper belt, apart from Pluto, which I know most people don't consider a comet, but let's be honest, it does have similar composition. And the typical comets that come from this belt, they have orbital periods of no more than 100, 200 years or so. And the other major repository of comets is the Oort cloud, which is much, much, much farther from the sun than the Kuiper belt is. You kind of get a sense of just how far it is from this scaling the Kuiper belt down to this. And this is how much bigger the Oort cloud is. These comets were originally icy leftovers in our own solar system, but then they got kicked almost completely out of the solar system by interactions with the giant planets. And so now many of them reach out this far from the sun and spend most of their lives out here at these great distances. Only very rarely, and if they just happen to have orbits like that, they come to the inner solar system like once every at least thousands and thousands of years or so. perhaps most famous recent example of a comet like that was Hale-Bopp.
So let me see if I get this right. So the little white dot inside the Oort cloud, it's our solar system.
That's our solar system plus the Kuiper belt. Yes.
Plus the Kuiper belt.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. That's our solar system compared to the Kuiper belt.
Okay.
Yeah, with Pluto's, I think that's Pluto's orbited. Maybe that's Eris. Maybe that was Pluto's. Kind of hard to tell at this resolution.
The red one is.
I honestly don't know. It wasn't labeled when I found it online.
Okay.
But now let's see if I assume that tiny one there's Jupiter, and that's Saturn, that's Uranus, and then that light blue one is Neptune. Then I'm guessing this gray one is Pluto, and this.
No, that would probably be like something like one of those.
I want to say Eris, because I think Eris gets out to about twice as far from the sun as Pluto can.
Just based on the presentation, it's probably Halley's Comet.
It could be. I honestly don't know. But in regards to our E3 comet here, it definitely comes to the Oort cloud. And that orbital period of 50,000 years, that is what it had when it came into the inner solar system. Now it's a little bit different. See, that's the thing about comets. I mean, even slight interactions with the gravity of the outer planets can alter their orbits. This is actually why Halley's Comet does not actually have a perfectly regular 76-year orbit around the sun. It can vary from 75 to 76 years, depending on what its passage is. And this comet has had its orbit potentially changed quite a bit, which brings us to the kinds of orbits that things can have around the sun. So you will probably never find anything in nature that has a perfectly circular orbit around something. That is actually just a very special case of an ellipse that has absolutely zero eccentricity to it, which would only happen when gravitational forces and the object's own momentum are perfectly balanced. But eccentricity is a measure of how elongated an elliptical orbit like this one is. If the eccentricity is zero, that's a perfect circle. An elliptical orbit, like pretty much everything in our solar system has an eccentricity somewhere between 0 and 1. Anything between that, and it's a closed elliptical orbit. The closer the eccentricity value is to 1, the more elongated the orbit is. This one right here, if I had to guess, I'd say it's like an eccentricity of 0.9, 0.9. By comparison, I think Mercury has the most eccentric orbit of any of the major planets in the solar system, and that's 0.2 something. And if I had to guess about Comet E3, its eccentricity coming in was probably 0.999 something. But now, I don't know exactly what happened. News stories are still new about it. They haven't given any indication what. But see, if the eccentricity is greater than 1, then it's not a bound orbit anymore. Instead, well, it was a space probe, we call it a flyby instead of an orbit. Swings around the planet or the sun once and then goes off into space, never to return. That's the kind of path a parabola or a hyperbola are, as mathematicians call them, and astronomers. And right now, after its latest passage around the sun, Comet E3's orbit has an eccentricity of 1.00026 something, which means once this comet has passed by the sun, passed by the Earth, if things stay the way they are right now, it's never coming back.
So it'll end up back in the Oort cloud?
Not even that. It'll go flying off in interstellar space, never to return.
Well, but the Oort cloud surrounds the solar system?
Yeah.
Yes, and everything in the Oort cloud is in orbit around the sun, even if it's just very weakly in orbit around it.
Yeah, so it will have to pass through the Oort cloud to get into outer space.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it has that much momentum.
As things stand right now, just about, yes. It has just managed to get that much momentum. Becoming flying off in interstellar space, and millions of years from now, it may become some other solar system's version of, well, there have been 2 interstellar comets that have come into our solar system in recent years, Oumuamua and Borisov, discovered in 2017 and 2019, respectively. So yeah, these things do happen.
So what we're saying here is that it has enough momentum to keep going, and since there's no opposition of any kind, it will continue to move indefinitely until it runs into another body that exerts some kind of force on it.
Until and unless it passes close enough to some other object that it exerts gravitational force on it enough to alter its path again.
You turn that down.
Turn it down?
No, I don't think they're coming to us. No. That's interesting.
So the Oort cloud isn't concentrated enough with enough bodies where this comet is likely to crash into something?
Most likely not. But even in our own asteroid belt, I mean, odds are if you were standing on any one asteroid in our asteroid belt, the next nearest one wouldn't even be close enough to see it with the unaided eye.
Wow.
Yes, I hate to break it to you and to all my sci-fi fan students, but that asteroid chase scene in The Empire Strikes Back, not physically real.
Oh no. I'm totally destructive over that.
Yeah. Not real. I thought it was doing such a good job zigzagging around it.
Yeah.
Well, so if you want to get a look at it, now I'm no expert on, I'm not nearly as much of an expert on observational astronomy as most of the members of this club, but I can tell you that, well, we got a new moon coming up on January 21st, so that'd be a fairly decent time to look for it. And it makes its closest approach to Earth on February 1st. Some sources are predicting that it will become naked eye visible, at least under dark skies. Others aren't entirely sure, and they're not entirely sure it's going to sprout a tail that's bright enough to see with the unaided eye. But as I say, comets are unpredictable. Some of them, they can hype it'll be the comet of the century, and yet it fizzles out. And some other cases, and say, I don't know much, and it suddenly brightens and puts on a really good show.
Comet Kohoutek.
I wasn't going to mention it, but yes.
Comet of the century.
So, but anyway, I got a couple of star charts here that can help you locate it. Let's see. Oh, well, it's all right. So
it's actually in the evening?
No, it's going to be in the morning sky for most of January, at least until it gets up into the circumpolar region of the night sky. So yeah, right now it's, well, you see it's fairly close to Hercules and probably those other other nearby spring constellations. But it is heading up fairly close to the far northern sky. And let's see, January 23rd, it'll pass just northeast of galaxies M102 and NGC 5907. They're somewhere close to Ursa Major, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, at the end of the month, it'll be within 12 degrees of Polaris. And by that time, it'll be moving at 12 arc seconds per minute. So they do say you'll need to take shorter exposures of it at that time, otherwise it'll smear out your field of view. Then it'll be in Camelot Pardalis by February 2nd. February 10th to the 11th, it's going to be just 1.5 degrees away from Mars. And then the 13th and 15th, it'll be in front of the Hyades cluster in Taurus.
Those are evening.
No, yes, it'll be in the evening by then.
What was the date on that?
In early February.
Okay.
So
February
for
10, 11.
yeah, so for the end of January, it'll be in the far northern sky, and then into February, it will be in the evening sky. And if I remember correctly, the news articles I did see say that February is also when it'll start to be visible in the southern hemisphere.
Mm-hmm. So February 10th and 11th, mark that down. There's a snowstorm coming.
Same for the 13th and 15th, yes.
Yeah.
And the last thing on my list is a somewhat more comprehensive star chart. And this one only runs to January, unfortunately. So I think I recall quickly seeing something online. There's a way that you can add the comet's orbital parameters to stellarium. I need to try to find that again so I can do that with my own data. But yeah, so try to find online if there's a way to add the orbital characteristics to stellarium, then you'll all be able to make your own star charts. Questions?
As far as the scope OTA, what it would be the best for magnification to pick this up if you were to take a picture of it?
Best magnification, I'll open that up to people who know their scopes more than I do.
Okay.
And actually, while we're waiting for that, so let's see. John Baker just shared some of his pictures with me. Let's see if I can. Is it which file is it? Hmm?
It's a video, so you probably have to copy it so that it runs okay. Otherwise, it will stutter.
I'll see. Let's see what I can do. Let's see. Where's my? All right. So this will take about a minute. If anyone else is taking any photos of it, feel free to share their screen while we're waiting.
So while we're waiting here, I have a dumb question and showing my ignorance about comets. Because don't they usually say that comets are dust and ice?
Usually more ice than dust, but yes.
So when they are at perihelium, how do they lose any mass, or do they?
Oh yeah, that's where the tail, that's where the head and the tail come from.
So how much mass? But they don't melt completely. That's my point. It's like how far are they from the sun that they don't melt completely?
Well, for one thing, it depends on how close to the sun they get. This comet, its close approach to the sun, is actually still a little bit farther than the Earth is from the sun.
Okay.
So it probably will not lose as much ice as your average comet that swings even closer.
Depends on how big it is too.
Oh yeah, that's also true.
Sometimes they'll break apart as they go down.
Yes.
Yeah, the Levy comet.
Mm-hmm.
So the tail is actually blowing away from the sun because of the solar wind. Is that what causes that?
Solar wind, solar radiation, yes. And with each passage around the sun, more of its ice vaporizes. And so if it's like a short period comet, like Encke or some others are.
So comets with the short period eventually will disappear?
Well, all their ice will disappear, leaving just the rocky parts behind. And in fact, yeah, it's probably a case where some very eccentric asteroids might have been comets once and just lost all their ice.
Hey, Robert,
Yes.
I have a picture of the comet if you allow me to share.
Oh, certainly. Let's see.
And while Alan's pulling that up, I got sidetracked there. Was it mentioned that this is found in Stellarium? So if you've got a go-to scope, you can actually load that and click a button and have your scope go to it.
Yeah, I see an article today on that.
Nice.
Okay, let's see. Have you guys seen anything?
Screen full of laps.
Yep, there it is.
Yep.
Okay, this picture was taken on the 10th of January from my front yard with horrible light pollution from my street light and also from the full moon.
It looks pretty good.
But it doesn't look too bad. And
What's the
for comparison, let me see here. Okay, there's M13, same settings.
Shot with what?
That's with a 10-inch LX200 f6.3 with DSLR camera attached to it, 15-second time exposure, ISO 5000. Very simple, very easy.
Don't really see a tail.
I can see the reddish color towards the one side.
Yeah, there's kind of you can see kind of a tail, maybe averted vision.
Yeah, it's got a tail. But I was just shocked. I was shocked I could even get a picture of it that easily. I just punched in the coordinates to it and the scope went right to it, and I just took a snapshot and there it was. So I called it good, and the sun was coming up.
how long a shot?
That's 15 seconds.
Okay.
Nice.
It is pretty nice.
And for comparison, again, there's M13. So it's getting pretty large. That was on the 10th, so I'm sure it's getting larger now because we're approaching it. I've been hoping to get another shot at it, but I haven't had a chance. It's been cloudy every day, so.
Let's see if I can get John's video to work here. And more importantly, can I share it? Okay.
That's it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a short video, but you can actually see it moving about a quarter of an inch.
What's the time scale here?
Can you put it in a loop?
I don't know. Let me see. Turn repeat on. Let's see if I can do that.
Time scale, I believe, is
It takes a long time to restart, so it's hard to see when it's moving.
it's 3:45 in the morning.
It's just, I wonder why it makes that big mess at the very beginning.
It's 4:51 in the morning, so it's each frame is, oh, that's not right.
Here. Okay, yeah, so you can see it moving from about here to here.
Yeah, the emotion of the frame actually makes you lose their frame of reference. Part of the fun.
Yeah, I just use PIPP to create that. Just entered all my lights. Let's see where they all are here. So these were 40-second exposures from 3:45 in the morning until until 4:51 in the morning, a little over an hour. And again, it was a full moon too.
And this was on morning of January 9th.
Yes. We can zoom in on that.
I don't know how to do that.
No, I don't think you can.
Shuffle on, turn repeat, no. Oh, this toolbar.
What about on the three dots on the far right?
I think that's part of Zoom, not
Okay.
not this.
Okay. About that blue slider, what's that do?
That's the sound.
Oh,
That's the volume.
Turn the volume up. That's right.
Space wind.
Yeah.
All right. We're good.
Yep, we're good.
All right. Okay. Share. Okay, fine.
Just for kicks, I got a Pan-Star pack taken back in June. If you want to see that one, a little video.
Sure.
Let me find out how to share here.
Use the flicker on the front.
Get that
no, he doesn't have it on his hard drive. He has it on his Google Drive.
there.
Oh,
Yeah, that's mine.
Is it sharing?
Yep.
Yes.
oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, did you say that was in June? I'm sorry, probably can't. Did you say that was in June?
Yeah, I think it was back in June.
Oh, that's amazing.
I closed the browser, so I'd have to get up. But yeah, I think it was like the end of June.
Yeah.
Yeah. What would the? How long was the time lapse for that?
Yeah, you'd have to ask that. Let me dig it out again. Is my mic on yet? I'm showing that it was on June 20th. I've got 3 videos, and I don't know whether it showed the time on there. I don't know. I can't even get our screen to show up here.
see something.
Oh, it's 2017 and star.
Looks like June 20th, 2022.
It's a different. That's a different comment though.
Okay, what did I minimize that I can't show anything now?
And star or something.
Right, it is and star. That's what it says there. But I think
Yeah.
That's a
I don't
different
think I thought
comment.
that it was the same comment.
Yeah, I can't tell. I'd have to check on it.
All right.
Says something like 14 seconds.
No, it was like one shot, like every 2 minutes for like about an hour or something like that.
Okay. Everybody brace yourselves. All right. Anybody else? Any other contributions to comment?
Yeah, just for kicks. I don't think Matt was here back when we were talking about it, but when the Messier Marathon, this is the whiteboard. I don't know if you can see it all or not.
I'll turn the lights off again.
This is the whiteboard in the classroom where we wrote down that was 321 to 22. 2015 was the last successful marathon we had. So this is when Matt and I went out. Matt, are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember writing all of that.
I know.
I remember reading all of that.
So yeah, that was the list in order. Started, it looks at 8 o'clock. And there's 4:35 to 5:15 a.m. 6:25 a.m. was the end. So from 8 p.m. to 6:25 a.m. Kind of a fun thing.
Yeah, basically every timestamp you see on there is when we were too damn cold and had to go inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then where's I thought, wasn't it around midnight? We actually had a little bit of time off. We could actually go inside and kind of talk and warm up a little bit. We had like a 20-minute period of time somewhere's in there, but otherwise it was pretty busy.
I mean, yeah, it looks like there was like a half hour there.
Yeah.
From just past midnight to 1:15.
Yeah. There's right there. It looks like from 30 minutes after midnight. Well, because we only did
I forgot how detailed this was. Like we took sky quality quality readings like the whole time.
Yeah.
This was a serious endeavor. But yeah, we found all but 3. Couldn't find 74. It was in the twilight in the evening. And then I think 55 and 30. 30 was in the twilight. 55 was in the truck stop, if I remember.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, it might have been the other way around. I can't think of where they all are right now.
Where were you using computerized scopes?
We did. I had a computerized scope, and then we were pushing Jeff's 12-inch Dob because there was a lot of stuff in the 6-inch, even with the computer, that it was like, I could tell there's something there, but I'm not going to call and say that I found it. And then we'd go find it in Jeff's, and then you could tell, that it was actually the object. You got 4 times the light gathering from a 12-inch Dob to a 6-inch refractor. So it's good we had both.
Yeah. And as I mentioned before, all I used was a 21 millimeter eyepiece all night long. And I love it. That scope is just perfect for that. So I don't remember what all you used, Matt. I think you used various stuff going on based on the object.
I want to say I had an 18 millimeter in pretty much most of the night.
Yeah, it doesn't take a ton of magnification to do this stuff.
Yeah, I'd argue that it's better to have less because some of them are so dim.
Yeah, yeah. And then the other one I wanted to share is I talked about the AstroScan. Matt, were you here when I was talking about the AstroScan?
Yeah, I want to see you balance that on a 10 micron.
No, they do make, and my daughter's got one. Do you see the picture?
Yeah.
Here's this little bolt here, and there's a hole in the bottom. They have a cast iron bracket that goes across there that's got a 1/4-20 opening, so you can mount it on a tripod. So I can mount that on a dovetail real easily.
Looking at the way that focuser's set up, you have zero chance of getting prime focus with that.
I know. So I thought I'd give it a shot to see if I can play around with the nose piece on the camera to see what it would happen. But
you should see if anybody in the club has any of those ZWO Planet cams that actually slide down into a 1 1/4. Then you'd have a shot at it.
I've got 2 of those. I've got a 120 and I've got a 224. And I also have
those the sensors outside of the focuser.
Oh, are they?
I'm talking about the ones where the sensor is actually at the end, the very end of it.
It looks like an eyepiece.
Yeah, I can check around and see that. Then I've got a Rev 2, which I think, again, that's going to be the same problem. And I've got the Melon cam. So I've got, 4 or 5 cameras I'm going to play around with. I've got that S-Big STI that is, it looks like a big firecracker that would slide in. So I don't know whether that would do it either. That's got a mechanical focuser or a mechanical shutter on it. So that's a little bit different.
More like, I think now that you mentioned that, I forgot you had that. That's probably your best bet.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought it'd just be fun to play with, and not the putting it on an EQ mount is kind of a secondary thing. I just thought it'd be very cool for a real quick outreach to throw that up and point it at stuff, and people can see you don't need anything huge and elaborate. But anyway, yeah, that's of course my granddaughter. I think last year she grabbed it, and her mom and dad didn't even know she was outside with it when she was looking at the moon. So they jumped out and took a snapshot. So
I'm going to be seeing her in my astronomy class in 10 years.
yeah, so I can see her teaching your astronomy class in 10 years.
Actually, I'll be considering retirement by then, so she's welcome to it.
I do recommend. I do recommend it.
Retirement's easy. I've done it 3 times now.
Can't you make up your mind?
No, it's just other opportunities keep popping up.
There's some more chances there.
Okay. Shall we have our treasurer's report?
Look at that. Hey, John gets to his maiden voyage. You can open that.
Sure, speak up when you do, when you need it on record.
Okay. So I want to go to
2023 and do the PL page. Put the balance sheet. Yeah, you're right there. So if you scroll up, you will have you have
our general fund has $3,189.91. Our event funds has $327.30. The observatory relocation fund has $11,197.81. Bringing the total to $14,715.02.
Putting in your 2 cents. Discussion? Do we have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
We have a second?
second.
All those in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report is accepted. All done. All right. Observatory expansion / relocation.
How's the roll-off roof repair coming? Is it?
I don't know, he's gonna repair it, or we're gonna wait till we go out to that location in Rockford and look at their system and see if we're gonna design ours like theirs. I was hoping Rusty would be here tonight. I haven't talked to him since the last time we talked at the board meeting. See if we had time to go out next Friday.
Is he still in the hospital?
As far as I know.
Well, I didn't know he was in the hospital.
Yeah, I've got him listed under other business we can talk about, but yeah, he's we can talk about him now. I think that Robert said that he does have his cell phone with him and can use the phone. So I think we ought to call him every hour on the hour between the dozen of us that are on here. Just keep him up all night. And
I spoke with him this afternoon and he's doing good. I got him on IVs and antibiotics. No ETA on dismissal yet though.
What's wrong?
Alan, you, either of you.
Yeah, he called me this morning and said that he has cellulitis. I'm not an expert on that, but he's been suffering from that, and it got bad enough that they checked him into the hospital. They're giving him antibiotics to battle it, and he's doing better. So I don't think there's anything to be overly concerned about, but you know, he is pretty much under the weather right now. And you know, he will accept phone calls, I think, if you called him up. Although I don't know you want to call him every hour, but
yeah, he's allowed to have 2 guests at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, Friday they took him in because he was having trouble breathing. So the infection had gotten up into his respiratory system. And he was looking at the possibility of pneumonia. So that's pretty much why they had checked him in, because whatever it was, it's starting in his legs and it advanced up into, like you say, up into his respiratory system. But he seems to be doing okay now, but like I say, no ETA on release.
Yeah, I think
they're still watching him.
He's going to be out of action for he's going to be out of action for a while, I think.
Yeah. With a diabetes, that's nothing to mess with.
Right.
I looked it up real quick online. I think it says like a bacterial infection in the skin, but it can spread into other areas. Anyway, let's hold the thoughts for him. Back to the observatory.
So is the observatory, the new one, going to be usable for Saturday night?
This Saturday night?
Yeah.
If the weather cooperates.
Yes, if we have somebody out there that knows how to pull it off without.
Okay.
Like me.
so is the main thing right now that bad cable? Because I think, John, you mentioned, are we going to fix it, or are we going to wait till we take the trip and look at that observatory and design our own? So if the only problem is the cable, I think just, as cheap as that would be, it is going to take a little while to design our own, no matter what we do. So the cable might be a good thing. Just go ahead and replace.
And how much cable's on that reel? Or are you talking about getting a larger cable?
I think it was 50 feet.
So we probably snapped about 25 of it. So yeah, you'll need more.
Well, I heard that you can buy the cable replacement
Yeah, Steve's on here now. I think he was talking about that, how he went and looked at Lowe's and Harbor Freight, I think.
Yeah, you can buy the 50 feet already set up to.
Yeah, you can put on any cable you want. It's just that the cable that was standard equipment on that winch was only a 1/8 inch cable. So that's only
1/8,
half the diameter of a pencil. Just to, trying to move that big roof. Usually if you buy a boat, it's got a winch or some other cable, you think the cable is at least a 1/4 inch, if not, say 3/8 or 5/16 of an inch thick. But that cable is really tiny. It's no wonder why it snaps so quick. But you could put any size cable on that drum.
And if I understood correctly, I think at one point we said that we were going to use that as a backup system anyway, even if we do get a better motorized system on there, that this winch would be a backup. So I don't think it'd be a waste of any money if we got a better replacement cable or whatever it took, and just put it on there so that we could kind of use it in the meantime, and maybe build a few other rules on it to make sure that there's a number of folks out there.
I would say that if you replace it, I'd go with at least 3/16 to 1/4 inch. 1/4 inch, I don't see any reason why the 3/16 won't work, but you just got to make sure all 6 attachment points are released. I think it'll move it fine. But also when somebody's operating that and everything's unlatched, I wouldn't stand in line with that cable. I would stay off to the side in case that ever does snap, because if it does, boy, and hit somebody in the head, it could really hurt pretty good.
Yeah, it hurt my thumb, that's for sure.
Yeah, just think if that was your head or something.
Yeah,
so,
I wish it were my head.
I would never stand in line with that cable when you're using it. And whatever you do, just make sure all 6 attachment points are loose. And I was concerned when I designed the east and west one in the middle of the wall to keep it strong, that it would even be enough. Well, I guess it's strong enough if it broke the cable, but then again, it's a small cable. So at least I know that those ones on the east and west end are pretty solid attachment points.
Better yet, can you stand behind something?
Yeah.
Steve, did you say another issue is crimping a hook onto it?
One more time, crimp it. No, it's just that when you buy cable, it doesn't come crimped. It's just cable.
Right.
So you've got what do they call that? Swedging?
Yeah.
So it's got to be
a Nyko press. I used to do that when I cabled my ultralight.
Okay. So do you have the tool?
I've got a couple of them. I don't know if it's a 1/4 inch one. I think I had 1/8 inch and 3/16 Nyko press. And you got to kind of, if you cut the cable, because if it's only 30 foot long, you probably only need 40 foot. And if that reel won't hold enough, is too small, it would be good to cut the cable down to like 35 or 40 feet. Even 10 foot off of there would shorten the cable to fit on the reel.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't familiar with the swedging, if that's what they call it, but there's plenty of YouTube videos that show you how to do it and show you the sequence of crimping down the little ferro rule or whatever they call that.
Yeah, it'd be on the end where the hook goes into the east end, right? That's where you need to bring the cable around and Nyko press it, I call it.
Yeah, and I don't know how the cable initially goes on the spool either on the other end. So, I mean,
it probably attaches by there's a little bolt usually on those type of winches, and it's got a little piece of metal keeper, and the cable goes on there or goes through this little slot on this keeper, and then you just tighten the bolt down. But then if you're cutting the cable, that cable can be hard to cut, and I've got a special cutter that it looks like a hook nose, so that when you cut the cable, it will gather the cable together and and cut it all the way around when you go to use like a plier like type of thing, because if you just try to take a snippers, it wants to go out the end, and you get a cleaner cut with this cable cutter that I have. And I used always stainless steel, but I don't know if that's necessary. If you get, I'd get maybe 3/16, but I wouldn't get any more than 1/4 inch thick, or it might be a problem on the reel.
So are we going to get, the other thing that we talked about was getting some type of aircraft quality stuff, or are we going to get that, or are we just going to get something from the hardware store?
Get what again?
I believe Jim and someone else is talking about getting a better quality cable in addition to heavier diameter cable.
Yeah, aircraft cable, stainless steel. That's really strong. That's all I ever used. And on that, you probably would have to order it. But you know, if my memory is correct, I think you can get like 16th, you know, 1/8 inch, 3/16. I never seen 1/4 inch for our type of application for ultralights, but they've got a winding that makes it real flexible, or you can get it where it's stiffer. And the more flexible one, it's the amount of strands or something. I can't remember, but there's, you know, like I said, you can get a 3/16 cable possibly in one that's stiff, that don't wind around as easy. And then you get a 3/16 that's real flexible. So, but leading edge airfoils out of Colorado has it. California Power Systems have it. I would say Spruce Aircraft Supply would have it. All those places for experimental build airplanes and ultralights, that they have that cable.
Harbor Freight sells that aircraft cable.
Okay, well, as long as it's stainless steel, and if it probably don't have to be super flexible, but if it wraps around that winch spool, it'd be nice if it's somewhat flexible. I don't know. I doubt if Harbor Freight or K&K Hardware or some of those have the different kinds, but I know they make a flexible cable in the same diameter and a more or less flexible too.
Okay.
But I've got a cutter and a Nyko press, but it only goes up, I think, to 3/16. I don't think I got 1/4 inch, and I don't know if I got any more Nyko press sleeves either. Might have to order a Nyko press sleeve or something.
Okay. Well, it looks like a study about what size cable we're going to get and where we're going to get it from. And then if we're going to get some fancy cable, is the ferrule or the whatever they call it,
those Nyko presses.
Yeah. You know, if we were just going to get regular hardware store stuff, I mean, that's just available, you know, readily available. And again, I don't know up to what size. So I just have to figure that out. But what we know is where we're at is a 1/8 cable just won't do it.
Yeah, well, I think, Jim, when you were operating it after you got the initial setup, there was never a problem with the 1/8 inch cable, was there? As long as everything was released, or did it strain it?
As far as I know, it was working fine.
Jim, you're the one that hooked it up.
Okay, so the first thing that we did, John and I mounted a manually operated boat winch. I felt more comfortable with that because you got feedback as the operator cranking on the winch. You know, you could tell whether the force, whether anything was going wrong. You know, something iced up and was causing more pressure to be exerted, forgot to release something. You know, I just felt more comfortable with the manual operation. Once you put that motor in place, you push that button and it pretty quickly applies a lot of torque. And, you know, in this case, it broke the cable. So, you know, it's hard. Maybe I think I jogged it a little bit just to try to apply just a little bit of force to see if the roof would start to move. My personal opinion is I'm kind of uncomfortable after the experience that we had in using this cable system. You know, I'm 1,000 miles away from you guys. You need to do what you think is the right thing to do. But I'm kind of looking at like, we're not going to use the roof a lot in the next few months, considering the cold weather. I'd rather you kind of, you know, use the fact, we know that if you put 4 people on it, you can pull it with a rope or push it with a 2x4. I know it's kind of, you know, a pain to have 4 people do it, but I'd just as soon not reinstall the cable just because I don't know what can go wrong, and then, you know, work towards getting a better system installed that doesn't include a cable.
Well, Jim, you're right on the manual winch. You got more feedback by just feel. You can feel when you're tightening that up with the arm on the manual winch, how much pressure you're really doing, where the motor drive, you don't have no feedback. It just torques it, and that's it.
Can't we make that one manual again? Because like I said, I thought that was kind of our backup.
No, well, that one was never manual.
Okay.
And we had a different boat winch.
Okay.
But you had a boat winch on it at one time.
That's correct.
Yeah, so that could be the backup.
Does that not, however, defeat the idea of having to stand too close to the cable?
Yes.
Unless you have a real long handle.
Well, I really don't think you're going to have a problem even with the manual winch, just as long as all 6 points are unlatched. If it has resistance against it, then we got a real problem. But I would say if you could get 3/16 cable, you know, you could get by for now. But I bet you that cable probably would not have broke, you know, if all latches were unlatched. But you know, if you need backup, I think the hand winch, just like we use a hand winch, but that's totally different down there at the Minky roll off. But I think you'd be okay with the backup cable with a manual crank, because you know if it's bound so tight, you common sense tells you, okay, what's making this thing so tight that it won't move. You know, you get a little feedback from it, but you know, that's just my opinion. If you can get 3/16 cable or 1/4 inch, we'll wrap around that in the aircraft. I would say you probably got a pretty good backup system. But like Jim says, that manual motor, there's no feed, or that motorized winch, you have no feedback. It's just turn it on and, you know, it's going to go or it's going to break or something. Whereas when you're manually using like a boat winch, you know, you can, common sense just tells you if something's really bound up and it's not wanting to move. Better check, make sure there's something not holding it back.
If you go with a manual winch, could you not then go with a strap instead of a cable?
Oh, I see. Yeah. Well, if you found a hand winch that would have a big enough strap, you know, that'd be fine too. I know you can buy those straps. I seen them. They're yellow and they're about 2 inches wide, and they sell them like at different places, Northern Tool and Menards, and they've got them up to 6 ton and even more for, you know, keep it in your vehicle. So if you go in the ditch and you got that and can attach it to the bottom of your car, which some cars have a hook on them, and there's a pickup truck that can pull you out. So I know those yellow straps are readily available. They got several sizes, even at Menards. It's just got to have a hook on the end of it, and then you got to get it into a winch that would work. I don't know what kind of manual winches they have in a strap type of thing.
Sounds like a good talk for the next board meeting.
Agreed. Agreed. Anything else on the subject?
Are we going to try to open it up for January 21st if the weather's good? If so, do we have 4 guys that can go out there?
We can.
Perhaps I should mention that I'm getting a shingles vaccine late Thursday afternoon, so so I can't 100% guarantee that I'll be 100% well.
Oh, I've had it. You should not have any problem with it.
So we assume that, and yet, then no point in my bringing it up then.
So the 21st is open house or Comet?
Yeah,
or both?
open house.
Okay.
Although it is all. No, it's.
Yeah, it's public night.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get it open.
So I was trying. There was also a date associated with the Comet. It was something about that. I can't remember.
I guess it's not just opening it. We need people there that late to close it.
Right.
So most of our public nights, even when we have guests, end by midnight. And usually a little bit earlier, but that's kind of what we've been doing.
So Jim, did after Jake was out there and changed that soffit around, did that seem to take any tension off of rolling it off, like it was binding on the northeast corner and the south, or the southeast corner and the northwest corner when he changed that soffit around, or did it seem not to make much difference?
You know, after he did that work, I don't know that we tried to roll it. I wasn't, I didn't try to roll it. I did observe that there was a gap there. So it looked like, you know, it should have helped, but I don't know whether it helped.
Yeah.
10% improvement or a 50% improvement.
Right. And it's kind of hard to tell because it's so heavy anyway, the roof, it's heavy to move it anyway. But I was out there and I looked at how he changed that around, and you know, really that was a good thing how he did that, because you know, the brush type method on the Minky roll off, that deteriorates, and this is just a fine little gap, and I don't see snow getting in there or anything. I like how that turned out, because that was one of my concerns building it, was how we were going to seal that gap. And he used all stainless steel screws when he rechanged that, so they can't rust and deteriorate either. So anytime you use stuff outside, I use stainless steel or aluminum fasteners on everything anymore that's outside. Just regular steel, it just turns to rust. I've replaced all my gutter screws and everything with stainless steel. But I like how it's sealed up, and it looks good. And what I saw, how he changed it, I liked it.
Good.
else?
Like Jim says, it's supposed to get colder here towards the end of the month and into the 1st of February, but who knows how long it'll last. But, if we can just get by until spring, then Jim will be back. And in the meantime, keep talking and researching gear drives or track drives and stuff like that, and make connections, and maybe it'll all come to tuition come, by April, May, something will start happening.
I just checked my weather app. It's right now it's saying this Saturday looks like mostly clear, high 34, low 25.
Yeah. The coldest time of the year is always the last week of January, the first week of February. That's when all the record lows have been made here in the Quad Cities. 1996, it was record 28 below, and then about 3 years ago or so, we broke that record, I think, on the 31st of January, and it was 33 below. And it's just the cycle of the sun. You'd think it'd be the coldest when the sun's the farthest away on the 21st of December, but it takes about 6 weeks for the cycle to cycle into the weather pattern. And the same way with summer. June 21st, the longest day, can be chilly in the first little bit of June. The north is still fighting with the south with the hot and cold air. And when do we have our hottest time? About the 6 weeks after the 21st, which gives you about the end of July, 1st of August. So there's always a pattern there of about a 6 week lag.
Look how long it takes to get a pot of water to boil on the stove after you light the burner.
So we
very similar.
Right? There you go.
Yeah, and please don't interpret my comments that I'm trying to be in control of this drive system. I'm happy to let you guys work on that. I just a little cautious about that cable type of system.
Okay, I'll be the gladdest of all when we finally get a fully motorized system for it.
No.
Are there not any garage door openers that are big enough to handle that with a chain drive?
I'm pretty sure there are industrial ones, right? I mean, the ones that they use at our build, the gate is huge. It uses just a single motor, but would need to be adapted, I'm pretty sure.
I've seen huge metal garage doors that are like 4 cars wide and 3 stories tall that are steel being lifted. So
yep.
They're out there, and it would not be near as heavy pulling something after it gets moving as it is to lift something for that far. So, but we didn't have any luck checking with the one garage door company that we checked with. They just didn't want to deal with it.
I think Jim's on the right track. But it amazes me how you're finding these people that do have these track drives, I call them, lineal length gear teeth, and then round little gear. And the gear reduction is the whole key thing to it. Is it a 10-to-1 gear reduction to make it very efficient? But the more efficient it is, the slower it's going to run too.
You need a manual transmission gear where you just hold a lever and it engages a small gear, and as it gets moving, you pull it down and it engages a larger gear to speed it up.
It can be done.
Or that motor that Alan's got for his wallpaper.
I'm surprised there's not more stuff on YouTube or someplace out there that would describe in detail.
Well, there's a lot of stuff for backyard astronomers, and most of those buildings are, 10 by 10 or 10 by 12 in that.
On this subject, Alan, did you ever hear from the Burlington Club? They were going to send us some information on their drive system for their roll-off roof.
No, I never got any information from them. I didn't realize they were going to send you some information, but I haven't received anything.
Okay. Yeah, at that night they had offered to maybe, they said the guy that designed it had moved away, but they thought they still had some documentation. So it may be that they weren't able to find it.
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like it's been in operation for quite a while, but it looked pretty good. They just had a chain that they were dragging back and forth with a sprocket drive on it.
Yeah,
We've talked about this enough.
yes. Is there any other business that anyone wants to bring up tonight?
Yeah. We had that Greg Wustenberg contact us on our website and wants to donate a Celestron Power Seeker 76 alt as. I've got a picture here. I can share that. And I've made contact with him, and I'll be meeting him Saturday, I think at 1 o'clock, we said, and to pick that up, and we'll give him a $100 tax receipt because that's what you can get him for new. I also want to give him a 2023 membership. He's getting rid of the telescope. Maybe he had some interest in maybe joining the club. We'll get him back involved. The telescope apparently has never been used. He opened the box just to see what was in the package. So it almost sounds like the box looks like new with the plastic wrap still around it. So I'm thinking that might be a great thing to use for the Messier Marathon as a raffle. And we'll just put it together and set it there by the box and sell raffle tickets. Again, that'll be a
Newtonian. Have you seen it?
no, I'm going there Saturday, but I've got a picture of what it would look like. It's not anything fancy, that's for sure. It's nothing I would necessarily want to have, but.
Oh, I'm pretty sure it's not. I mean, it's 76 millimeter Newtonian. It's like looking through a freaking toilet paper roll. That can be 76.
Yeah, that's the 76 right there. It's small. But again, if we use
less
it.
than 3 inches.
What's that?
That's less than 3 inches. That is just, I don't know what you can use that for. I mean, that is just.
Well, that's not
It's small.
wrapping it up.
But again, if we don't have to use it for a raffle. We can donate it to a library. We can give it to a kid that shows up at a open house and seems interested in astronomy. It's not costing us anything, so.
That's about, that's the same size as the original telescope I had when I was like 10 years old. And, for a 10-year-old, that's great.
I know to me, I had a small refractor when I was about 10 years old, and I used it one time and was so disappointed. I left it out in the yard, and it ended up getting thrown in the garage and hit by the car and then thrown in the garbage after one use. I'm not much in favor of junk telescopes or anything, but some people are the other way around. They get really infatuated with anything, and they build the hobby. So it has to be the right person. And I think there's a lot of right people out there for it. So anyway, I'll be picking that up Saturday.
I don't really have a dog in this, but sure, give the guy a tax receipt for it, but don't give anybody that telescope. There's entire forums online dedicated to keeping people from getting that telescope.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. I don't know whether we just, maybe we can use it to show what a reflector is. something small as a display type of thing where, instead of having the pictures that we have, you can take it. This is a small reflector. Here's what the secondary looks like. Here's what the primary look like. Here's how it works. We can always do that type of thing too.
Or even just use it as a use case. Like these seem like a good idea online, but a starter scope is a gigantic waste of money.
Yeah, I'm good with that too. Like I said, it's nothing I would want to promote or anything, but might be a good thing to use for new folks coming in, not knowing what kind of scope they want to get, to let them set it up and see what kind of problem it is. Because they are, at least it's not an EQ mount, but it's still going to have the same, no light gathering and wobbly mount, and who knows if it'll stay in place even if you tighten the tension on it. So, but anyway.
Figure out what to do with it once we get it.
Yeah, that one looked long enough that it's probably not a Bird Jones, but it's probably a spherical mirror. And yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anyone.
It's $100 new, so but yeah, I'm good with that. Using it for whatever purpose is why not to buy.
I did have a question for the club on behalf of Chaz Kalinian. He wasn't able to make it, but one of his good friends is the proprietor of Honey Creek Gems, and he has a suspected meteorite. It is ferrous, and he was wondering if anyone has any idea of how to get it tested or what that looks like if he actually has a meteorite.
Yeah, I could
Does
get that.
anyone have any experience with anything like that?
Yeah, I could get that over to Grant over at Wilton School Systems Observatory. He's got extensive experience. And
okay, I might do that.
Yeah, we can also get it to the Planetary Society, which is in Illinois, if Grant has any issue with it.
Or maybe some
Okay.
people in August.
It looks pretty good size. I can share my screen and show you what it looks like. I only got a couple photos, but
please do. That'd be fun.
Or maybe some people in August geology department could look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not in Chaz's care, but he says he could probably get it take a look at it. But it is ferrous, he said. It is magnetic.
That's a good indication.
It's pretty good size.
Holy smokes, that is big.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
If that's real, that's quite the...
Yeah.
It's like a very nice hunk of slag.
Jeff, who was the speaker when Levy was here? Because he gave a talk about meteorites and he was selling meteorites.
He's Sapira. He's he's Planetary Foundation. That's what I mentioned after Grant. Grant is real local and easy to get a hold of. So he'd be a great first opinion.
So where'd you find that at?
So one of the other club members, Chaz Kalinian, he wasn't able to make it tonight. He's good friends with the owner of Honey Creek Gems, and he found it through some of his business dealings.
Was it just here? Out on the ground somewhere in the Midwest, or?
I don't know any more than that. I'm sorry. I'm asking it secondhand. We're actually tertiary, really.
I thought when I was a kid, I found a meteorite, and Dr. Neilssen took it to the lab and all that, and he had a collection of what he called meteor-wrongs. And what I had was, it was a piece of iron ore that was drugged down here through the glacier age, and as the glaciers melted, it left these deposits of iron ore that was scraped off the surface up in Canada, headed south as they rolled along. And as I got to looking in that wooded area, there was several pieces of that like iron. But
that's neat too, though.
What's that?
I said that's neat too. I don't know if it's as neat as a meteorite, but that's pretty neat too.
Yeah, the one side of it was really smooth like that, but then the other, the backside was all porous. And he says that's the giveaway there. It looked like a cinder block on the bottom of it.
Mm.
But it was
Yeah, I just have those photos, not really much detail. I've never seen it personally. Like I said, I'm asking it kind of tertiary.
Do you know where Honey Creek Gem is?
I'm sorry?
You know where that Honey Creek Gem is by chance?
I could find out.
I was just curious because I think I know where it's at down in Van Buren County. It's not local, is it?
It's on 1228 Washington Street in Davenport.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that used to be Grand River Gemstone.
I'll take your word on that. I know nothing about it.
My aunt used to own it.
Oh, how cool.
So anyway, can you email those pictures to me? I'll blast those out to Grant to see if he can tell right away just by looking, or if he needs to see it in hand.
Yeah, gladly. I'll get those forwarded to you tonight. I said it's probably just a big old piece of corporite from a poor, unlucky guy, but you know, let's see what it is.
All right, anything else?
Yeah, I was gonna ask, but I guess it sounded like you got something on there. I logged in last night because it's about the time of year I get billed for the website, and I wanted to see if you guys were still using it. It didn't really look like it as I was looking through logins on there, but do you guys want to keep that? I mean, it's pretty, I don't know, disused at this point. I did have a chat with Emily tonight to see about getting the server migrated on there, and she didn't even know that was an issue. So I guess Jason never told her about it. But are we maintaining the website or not? I guess is what I'm asking, because
just today I put another David Levy on there.
I saw that. Yeah, that's pretty much like the only activity that's on there, Jeff. It's you posting those to it.
Yeah, you're right. It's just that it's, speaking for an old person like me, it's hard to use our site.
Yeah, it's not a social network. I mean,
yeah.
you definitely, you need to get in there and actually like work the back end of it a little bit. And if this is why I'm asking, because like I said, it gets billed out February 1st. So if we're not using it anymore, then I can cancel it. It's not that big a deal.
Well, for me, 4 months ago, I could not get on enough to look at any of your pictures, let alone mine.
Right, because the server has an old version of PHP on it right now. It needs to get updated. Like the vast majority of the plugins on the site are broken. Like it's not being maintained at all.
Yeah, it's hard to use it if you can't use it.
Well, right, that makes it even worse. Yeah. But like, I mean, Travis kind of reached out to me 6 months ago now, mentioning that, and I tried to get a hold of Jason then, and I know I gave his contact info out. But it's been months. Nothing's happened with it.
Yeah, I've sent a couple emails to Jason, and I haven't been able to get through to him at all. Half the site, as you said, is just so far out of date that it's broken, and more is breaking every month.
Yeah, literally, either he needs to upgrade that server or migrate the entire site to a new server. I don't know. It's not a big deal to me. It's only $20 a year. I mean, because we got a sweetheart deal on the thing, but if it's not getting used, it's not getting used. You know what I'm saying?
To me, we need it, but we need it to be fixed so that we can use it. I mean, I can't train anybody how to do anything. I gave up on pictures too, and I was loading them for all kinds of people before, you know.
Yeah, so it's impossible. It's impossible to do it.
Yeah. So, you know, to say let's not do it because it's not being used. Maybe it's not being used because it can't be used.
I use a free version myself. No, would pay for it. Otherwise.
Right. So I mean, like, I don't know. I don't even think I'm technically a member of the club anymore. But like, I don't really have any say in it. That's why I'm asking.
I guess the say would be if it takes Jason and Jason's unwilling to work on it or help or do what needs to be done, we need to either go elsewhere or just not have it.
Right. I think I'd appreciate you guys having that discussion is what I'm saying.
Okay. So maybe that's another board thing along with Wench on the observatory for next board meeting.
Yeah, if you don't mind though, like do me a favor and kind of probably take that one quicker, because like I said, February 1st is when it gets billed.
You know, another advantage in having a website is that when, for example, we ask for money from organizations, sometimes they ask us, you know, do you have a website? Can you give us the address so we can look at it? So it would be nice to have one for a variety of reasons. I guess if it's, well, I'm not that knowledgeable about it, but it sounds like for a $20 investment, the club should compensate, whether it's Matt or somebody pay that $20 if, you know, if we're that short a time, we won't have a board meeting before that date.
So isn't that where we're getting people to donate stuff to? I mean, Terry Olson donated now $1,250, and I think he found us via our website.
Yeah, well, that's good. Like, and another thing I would say, like, because I was, you know, kind of the major driver behind us, like, getting a website in the first place. Like, social media is dying. It's becoming completely unusable, if you ask me. There's still people that are into it, but the entire system is imploding upon itself. Like, the web will go back to being the web. I guarantee it, where people are actually like going to destinations and not doom scrolling on Facebook. But like I think you guys should, but somebody's gonna have to get through to either Jason or Emily to get something done about this. So like, maybe not just like firing off an email. Like, I would get on QC Total Tech and really start asking them, you know, what they need to switch this over. I mean, we don't pay for storage. We don't pay for the server space. The $20 is just to keep control of the domain qcastro.org. That's it. Otherwise, the website we're getting from them for free. So obviously they're not going to be in a hurry to do anything about it, but maybe since Jason's not involved and they're really not involved in the club anymore, somebody might want to reach out and say, what's it going to cost to get this fixed?
I'm willing to draft an email. I mean, this is the first time I've heard of Emily. If you wouldn't mind sending me her info, Matt, I wouldn't mind drafting an email to the both of them and seeing if I can get something done.
Yeah, Emily's Jason's wife. I have her personal info.
Okay.
I'm not going to send that off, but just look for like the contact stuff on QC Total Tech's website.
That's fair. I was unaware of that.
Matt, would it take a drive out to physically bang on the door and talk to them?
I don't even know where they are anymore, dude.
Oh, okay.
I don't know that QC Total Tech has a storefront at this point, because I think their only physical presence is their other company. And that's the other thing, like they run a completely different company at this point. So like the QC Total Tech is just maintenance stuff. It's pretty low priority. I'm pretty sure you're going to have to offer them some cash to get this fixed.
Another option would be to move it to my server. I have a Blade server that Paul gave me that I have several websites on there. They're WordPress sites. I create virtual machines for each one of them. It might be easy just to move it over to mine than do maintenance. Do you know what kind of environment it's in? On what kind of server it's on?
Yeah, it's definitely on a Linux server. It would be a complete bear to move it onto that Blade server unless you got it dual booted.
Did you say it was a Linux machine?
Yeah, all of his servers are Linux. He doesn't physically own any servers. He rents server space out of Texas.
So I would make the assumption that it's probably a virtual machine, and if we could get just a copy of that whole virtual machine and put it on my machine, it would start up and run just like it is now. We would just have to point the URL to my Blade server, which is
yeah, you know more about it than I do, man. The whole issue is that it's he needs to upgrade PHP though, because the whole thing, it's the environment that it's in is PHP.
If it can be done, do we need Jason to move it over to John's?
Yeah, you're definitely going to have to get permission from the guy who owns all of it to steal it. Yeah, that's how that works.
Okay, I figured as much. I just didn't know whether, you know, getting him to help and getting him to help, if it's two different beasts.
Yeah, I mean, the reason we put it on the one server before was to get away from, I guess, I mean, before it was literally a computer in Dana's basement. John's server is a lot more stable than the computer in Dana's basement. You have a static IP, John? We don't.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So we won't have any of the same issues if we did that. But yeah, like, look into it, guys. I mean, I would love to fix a lot of what's wrong on there, but you can't. While the actual thing is running on an out-of-date server, it can't be fixed. Like, the security on the website's toast. Like, obviously Next Gen Gallery's toast. There's a bunch of other things on there if you go look through it. Stuff that cannot be updated, stuff that is literally just sitting there saying it's broken because it's no longer compatible with that older version of PHP.
Well, I guess my feeling is, because you need to know sooner than later, and the board members can chime in then, I would say pay this $20 to keep the thing active, and then let's at the board meeting talk about seeing if we can get the thing moved over to John's. I mean, for $20, you know.
Yeah,
well, definitely a second for the $20 re-up. I think we should discuss more about moving it to another private server.
Yeah, but there's
questions I have to understand before we do that.
Yeah, and like I said, that we can discuss, but if we pay the $20, we're no worse off than we are right now. At least we've got a site. And if it takes us 3 months, and if it takes 3-4 months to figure out what we want to do with it, at least we've got 3 or 4 months to do it.
I think it's a good chance for an option to look into it at least.
Yeah, I personally, just because I'm a doomer at this point in my life, I'd rather not have it on the server at John's place, just because, hell, that meteorite might hit it. You know, it's nicer to have it somewhere out on the webs where it's getting backed up and it's redundancy and there's an actual CDN behind it that's making sure that it can never go away. Just my 2 cents.
I like it at John's place because, I mean, if something goes wrong, we can all go over there and have Cat's Eye Distillery.
Take our sorrows away.
Yeah, because it's a crater. Yeah. Yeah. So as it sits, I'll do nothing, and we'll own QCastro.org for another year, but yeah, I'd say that you guys should prioritize that because it's a bad look. And once it gets nice outside, you want people to be able to hit it up. You want to be able to get notifications again when there's contacts that are going on in there. I remember I logged into it, I think in October, and there were 70 some unanswered questions that were on there from the summer before. A lot of them were good questions, I guess. I would try to get this figured out in the next month or 2. Don't take a couple months to do it.
Yeah, and Craig and Byron and I know Jim have had some incredible pictures that we don't have on our site, and you know, we need that stuff on there, like Jim said, to show our presence. That's how clubs work, getting people interested. And if there's nothing there that's different, they aren't going to be interested.
Matt, to your point about backing up, I do have another server that's at a co-location facility somewhere out there in the cloud that we could probably use also. Except I don't know if it's got Hyper-V on there to run Linux. It's a Windows machine.
I mean, I would definitely feel better about it then, because I don't know the first damn thing about a website, and I got it as good as it is. I don't think I could do it again.
We'll definitely bring all this up at the next board meeting.
But for now, let's go ahead and renew the thing.
I agree.
All right. And while that next board meeting is February 1st, so as early in the month as could possibly be. And our
Hopefully we'll have great weather for January 21st and everybody will be out there.
And then our next general meeting is February 18th. School will be back in session at St. Ambrose. Hopefully it'll make it easier to get in here. Is there any other business that absolutely have to bring up within the next few minutes? Otherwise, does anyone want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
You have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is anyone interested in Village Inn tonight?
No. I wonder if it's even open.
I think they're open till 10.
Well, the last time we went there, they were closed because they don't have any help at night. So they close like at 7. You can order and pick it up and not sit down. I don't know if that's still the case.
A lot of places are closed on Monday anyway, because everybody spent all their money over the weekend and it's a slow day on Monday.
And that's MLK also.
So does that mean from now on we'll have to bring our own pies to the meetings?
Well, up to you.
You have pie at home.
I didn't know if there was anything else on that jump that I gave you. It looked like that was all that was there, right?
All right. Thanks for coming. Hopefully see you Saturday. Otherwise, see you next month.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a good one.
Yeah.